So Johnny, it's been heads down and straight to work since you've been here, but now we've got you here to the museum to take a little look around. How nice is it to see all of the history?
Yeah, really good. I mean, some unbelievable memorabilia. I haven't had a chance yet to even come down here and see it. So to get an opportunity to have a look around today, see some of the medals, some of the pictures, some of the old kits is really fascinating to me.
Yeah, obviously I know you're an 80s lad. What were your main memories of Wimbledon as a child, and what sort of players did you look up to during that time?
Yeah, well, obviously born early 80s, so my earliest memories of football really are the late 80s. You know, grew up an Arsenal fan, so I remember Arsenal winning the league in '89. But I do remember the cup final. Not specifically sitting down watching the cup final, but I remember the story at the time. Obviously, the upset, the mighty Liverpool losing, and the story of Wimbledon having only sort of been in the league, I think 10, 11 years at that time in the Football League, going on and winning the FA Cup. Dave Besant's save, which I think at the time was the first penalty save in an FA Cup final as well. So, you know, you got the iconic picture there, and yeah, I do remember the story, and obviously the famous players, you know, Vinnie Jones, Dave Besant, Dennis Wise, obviously early in his career there as well. Laurie Sanchez scoring the winning goal. So I have got memories of that time, yeah.
Yeah. What did you make of their playing style back in the day?
Well, it was effective, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Done, you know. They made no apologies for the way they played. It was really effective. It got them through the leagues really quickly, got them into the top flight, and got them massive success. And it was sort of a real up and at 'em underdog mentality that they took into every game, despite who they was playing against. You know, even when they're coming up against possibly one of the greatest club teams of all time, well, English club teams of all time, that Liverpool team during that era. And you know, they didn't hold back. I remember Vinnie Jones's tackle early on in the game, I think it was on McMahon,
yeah,
letting him know that he was in for it. So that was the way they played, and it worked, and it rattled the opposition, and it got them unbelievable success.
Do you think it would still work nowadays?
I think there's elements to that game that can definitely work. I think the up and at and getting in people's face, I mean, at the level that we're at today, definitely, you know, that high energy pressing, getting in people's face, making it difficult for the opposition. I think even the top sides do that really well, playing in the opposition's half. So I think trying to mix it up and between styles definitely still works. I think throughout the levels now, you're seeing teams that are trying to play out more from the back. That wasn't as apparent back then, but I certainly feel like, you know, if you can get a good mixture at the level we're at, that's an effective way to play.
Yeah. Let's just move round more to present day. Obviously, you're the first Wimbledon manager in about 10 years that has sort of come here without a previous link to the club. Do you think that helps you, or do you think it's brought you a little bit more pressure, if you like?
I'm not sure. It's a difficult one to answer. You know, obviously I've come in with fresh ideas and come from the outside, so that you know, I haven't got that attachment to the story necessarily, but that allows me a freedom in my ideas. But I think, you know, having a link with the club has obviously got major benefits as well. So you know, there's pros and cons to it, but I do feel like, you know, there's a lot of people attached with the club that I have got personal relationships with. You know, talking about some of the previous managers, Neil Ardley's ex-teammate of mine. Simon Bassey, who you know, coached here for a long time, is someone that I've known, and ex-Wimbledon players that I've played with and worked with really closely. Jason Yule, who I worked with, you know, up until last season, is a really good friend of mine, and obviously started his career here as well. And it's just a real strange one. My dad played vets football with Wally Downs.
Really?
Actually, wow. Yeah. So he's known Wally for a long time. And
yeah.
As a kid, I used to go and watch them kick it about together as well. So Wally's someone that, you know, I don't know brilliantly well, but I've always been able to pick the phone up and if I've needed to. So I do feel like, you know, even though I've had no association before with the club, that there are connections, and obviously football being a small world that it is, you're always in and around people that have got, you know, connections to the club as well.
Yeah, and obviously this is our 2016 exhibition from when we got promotion to League One. Yeah. Lyle Taylor was a key member of that. What was he like to work with?
Yeah, exactly. That's another one. I've coached a lot of boys that have been here. Lyle being one, Joe Pigott recently, who had a lot of success in the recent days here. Someone that I played with and coached with, but Lyle particularly, one that I enjoyed working with. He spoke so highly when he came to Charlton of Wimbledon, and it was actually his performances for Wimbledon against my Charlton team really that alerted us to him, and his style of play, the way that he spoke about it, he's up and at 'em and never given the opposition defenders a moment's peace. So I really enjoyed my time working with Lyle. He was fantastic to work with, really good attitude, and a top player as well, and knew where the goal was. So a real fondness of that period.
As we move on to the next part of the interview, let's just go around here. This is quite a poignant little exhibition here. So that's actually the first shirt that we wore when we played Sutton United. It was actually the makers of Football Manager, Sports Interactive. That was actually their staff kit. So they lent it to us. That's why our badge isn't on there. Yeah, just thinking about that, what sort of stands out for you in the story of AFC Wimbledon, and what have you sort of learned about it?
Yeah, obviously I was well aware of it. Just being in football, it was a huge story at the time. The rebirth of the club, if you like, and obviously having to go down the leagues and start again. But for me, it was just a success that came. It felt like from the outside, it felt like it almost came instantly, and probably didn't feel that way. But climbed through the league so quickly, and the story was how the community came together. Everyone pulled together. The supporters. We spoke about that never say die attitude, and I think that was never more apparent in supporters who just made sure that their club continued to exist, and they built it up again from scratch, and just the buy-in that it got from the local community, the way that they all rallied together, and like you say, borrowing kits to put out for the first game, and the success that you had really quickly moving through the leagues, and just the way that it built momentum, it grew. Finally getting back into the Football League, and again, I think Danny Kedwell, someone that I know quite well, because his son was in the academy at Charlton, so I had an opportunity to coach him and got to know Keds quite well, and obviously he scored the goal there, didn't he? Just so many different fairy tales all in one story, really.
So when you're trying to convince new signings to come here, do you talk to them about the values of the story a lot?
Yeah, we do. We try and instill that in them. Obviously, we've got a great opportunity here to show them the stadium. The brand new stadium, and straight away you get an opportunity to tell them the story about Plough Lane, the original Plough Lane, how the club had to leave, and then how the supporters made it their business and their dream to one day return here. And obviously, a lot of people said it would never happen, but they was adamant. And they stuck with it. They clubbed together, and they raised the money that they needed, which is just an unbelievable feat, really, to actually get back here and build it. And then when you're showing, the outcome of that to players, I think they really sort of buy into that. And I think it just sort of sums up really the underdog mentality, that never say die attitude of Wimbledon, and then you've got an opportunity to physically show the boys something that is an end product of that never say die attitude. So, and then obviously that's an easy thing to link to how we want to approach it, what we want to create, and it's obviously vital that if you're going to have an association with Wimbledon, that you buy into that mentality as well.
So you see there, you got the Don's Local Action Group top on. I know yourself and Terry Skivington visited the hub. How was that?
Yeah, we went round to those guys a couple of weeks ago, and I knew that the stuff that the football club done in the local community was really big. I've been at award ceremonies where the guys have won awards for that, but I think getting first hand, actually getting eyes on that and speaking to the guys out there and seeing what they do on a daily basis, getting the food out to the local community, to the people that really need it. Like, it was a real eye opener. You hear stories about the work in the community, but to actually see it and understand what goes into it and how people are giving up their time just to help others. And I think it's amazing. You know, football clubs can obviously be really, really important pillars of the local community if people are willing to buy into it and give up their time and volunteer, which everyone here is. So I think the work that we're doing as a football club is fantastic, and none more so than them guys at D-Leg.
And then just lastly to finish off, obviously you showed your passion at full time against Colchester.
Yeah, it's coming through in my voice a little bit. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Do you find that quite hard to hold in on the touchline?
I do, yeah. Like, people have often said to me, "Oh, you look pretty calm," and my answer is always, "Well, I never feel it," because you're just engrossed in the game and the emotions of it. But sometimes, you know, they spill over. You're trying to project calmness to your players, so you need to try and be calm. At the same time, you need to be motivating, and sometimes you've got to get messages across. And in a stadium, it's not always easy, especially when our supporters are making the racket that they do and getting behind the team. To get messages onto the pitch is difficult. You have to scream and shout sometimes, which I had to do a lot of on Saturday, especially in those sort of last 5-10 minutes. And obviously it's cost me my voice a little bit. But if I go home every weekend with a croaky voice and all my voice is gone and it means we got 3 points, then I'm more than happy with that.